Disclaimer. Some of the views, beliefs, and ideas that I hold in this video, I do not anymore. If you want my current beliefs, views, and ideas, which I do hold right now, check out my other socials in the description down below. Welcome to the JTF Show Podcast. Now, here's your host, JTF. Today we're going to talk about E.T., or most so, we're going to talk more about something called celebrity worship syndrome. That I think this should be brought into the discussion. Is E.T. part of this, or is this part of E.T., if not E.T. in general, is this mental disorder? Well, we gotta talk a little bit about what celebrity worship syndrome is. According to philosophy.com, also a brief warning, some things I might say in this particular podcast might be inappropriate. You have been warned. So just to tell you guys, this is philosophytoday.com, and it says celebrity worship syndrome has been described as an addictive disorder where when an individual becomes overly involved and interested, completely obsessed with the details of a personal life of a celebrity. Sounds familiar to E.T. They do this a lot of times. Any person who is in the public eye can be the object of a person's obsession. That is true. Paraphrasing this, such as authors, politics, journalists, but research and criminal PROSECUTIONS. Sorry, I was doing other things. I was trying to do something with the printer and anyways, suggests they are more likely to be someone from the world of television, film, and or pop music. Again, sounds a little bit familiar to E.T. They really talk about a lot of people's stuff, private stuff as well, which we will get into. Okay, this is somebody researched this from data from 3,000 people showed only around 1% demonstrate tendencies. Around 10% who tend to be neurotic, tense, emotional, and moody, display interest in celebrities. Around 14% say they would make a special effort to read about their favorite celebrity and to socialize with people who share their interests. The other 75% of the population do not take any interest in celebrities' lives. Generally, the vast majority of people will identify a favorite celebrity, but don't say they read about them or think about them all the time. Like most things is fine as long as it doesn't take over your life. True, you can, again, I think E.T. could be used, I think this was E.T.'s pretty much vision, is to basically be sort of like a celebrity news, get into the new updates on some celebrities, but not like on their private, personal lives. It's okay to know some things about your favorite celebrity, Like one of my favorite celebrities is Robert Downey Jr. Again, I think E.T.'s main vision was to basically, I don't know, just don't quote me on this, is I guess to let people know that celebrities are human as well, or to sort of getting more insight on your favorite celebrity of some things that they do. Again, there's nothing necessarily wrong with it. The problem is sometimes they go a little bit too far, which I will tell you right now about. If I'm correct, this was Friday, October 16th, if I'm correct, 2020, so this was recent. A certain celebrity's marriage license was on ET. They're like, oh, this person finally got married. Here's their marriage license. Of course, the important things were not shown. I mean, they were blocked out, but still, it's a marriage license. I think that would be most likely private and precious to that couple. Now, if they gave, if they said, okay, you can do that, then okay. I mean, at the end of the day, nobody just says, hey, here's my marriage license. It's confirmed. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not married, but I think a marriage license is pretty private. I mean, come on. And also something private is relationships with other people. I mean, seriously, E.T. is really obsessed with people's relationships. Like, oh, this person was with this person, even though that person is married to this person. Like, nobody really needs to know that unless if it goes to like somebody maybe, excuse my language, was maybe either raped and or molested, then I guess you can't report that, but that would be most likely for the news. But I mean, I'm just saying. Other than that, I don't want to know, oh, this person was shown kissing somebody on the cheek, but they're married. Like, no, I don't need to know that about a celebrity that I like or even dislike. Like, that's none of my business. Like, seriously, they go too far with some things. Being honest. And this was talking about like an actress and an actor were in the same movie and or TV show, and it was like they saw them doing with another person or whatever, and I'm like, seriously, like really? And they even asked them, I think, what would you think about this, if I'm correct? And they were pretty much like no comment, which is a smart move. But that's not the point here. The point is that that's none of anybody's business, unless if they want it to be public. Then okay, but other than that, I'm like, I mean, do I really need to know? Like, I mean, think about it. Do I really need to know? At the end of the day, if a certain celebrity was caught on a picture kissing another person on the cheek, no, I don't think I need to know that. I really don't. Okay, again, from the data, this was only like 3,000 people, but if I'm correct, most people really don't do this. They don't really worship or really need to know. Like, I really need to know what this certain celebrity is doing, or I'll just lose it. That's not everybody, but it should be addressed. I think it really should be addressed. I think the reason why celebrities let ET do this to them is because I think, one, it's out there already, so I guess they can't really do anything about it unless they want to say, hey, I want to talk to you, E.T., about this, which I think most likely they have done that. I mean, think about the royal family. I mean, geez, they were really with the royal family. But that's not the point. And sometimes they're like their own report, like AT reporters and others. They usually do this, and the person who they're trying to report to is like no comment or gave them like a hand thing, like talk to the hand. I'm like, yeah, I would do that. I'm like, I don't want to talk to you guys right now. Seriously, like I have a private life. Okay, I personally, I'm a little bit transparent when it comes to stuff like marriage licenses and relationships that are, it's none of your business. Like, I get it. Celebrities are, they're very popular, but when it comes to somebody's personal lives, anybody, that should be personal. I mean, I think anybody can agree with that. Sorry, and also is most likely because most of the celebrities think that they're helping people to not see them as gods or worship them as deities to show that they're human. But sadly, it sometimes most likely does the opposite, actually. With a lot of things, people are still having this sad illness. I think ET might have some things to do with. At the end of the day, ET's found not that popular. Like if I talk to somebody, like if I say, "Oh, remember that episode from ET?" They're like, "What? I don't watch ET." Now, if I say something about the Mandalorian, then okay, yeah, they will be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that. See, that was oh my gosh, that was awesome." So yeah, in general, I sort of did that with the Disney Channel. But I got that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other time and place. I'm not gonna get into Disney Channel. But that's for something else. That's for another day. Oof. But that's a point. But at the end of the day, I think ET had its good intentions, but I think it just did some things that I just wouldn't agree with, or a lot of other people wouldn't agree with. One of the people who they were talking to, they said this person, this woman, said that their home, excuse for my language, has a stripping pole. And she said that she didn't want moms to get mad or to see this, that, that like, oh, I don't want moms out there who might be watching this to get, I guess, ticked off, actually, of course, ticked off about my kids playing on it or something like that. It's not the quote, I'm paraphrasing it. I don't know if she has kids. I don't want to know if she has kids. I don't want to know this. I really don't. We're playing on and on that. And also, the same person, ET, reported that this house that she has, I think it has a sign, or she says, "Hot girls allowed." And this woman also says, I think she's married to a man, but she said it's not the whole traditional we're together. They're usually, I think she said they're sort of separate right now. They're like he's not living at her house pretty much, and she's like only hot girls allowed. So it gets to that, and well, the reporters said you're still into him. And she said, yeah, but you're also maybe into ladies. And she's like, maybe. And they were sort of giggling. And I'm like, polygamy, anybody? Not saying, don't dox this person. Don't go after them. Don't do anything like that. I'm just saying how they did it. I just cringed. I'm like, oh my gosh, do I want to know this? Do we need to know this? Does the world need to know this? No, that's just, again, they gave their consent to report this, obviously, but again, other times, I think sometimes ET shouldn't talk to some people, or talk about some people, in general, being honest. And again, I think ET isn't doing this on purpose. I think they had, like, a good moral interest to, I guess, report to the people that celebrities are not immortal deities that you should worship. I think that's what they were trying to do. But they do it in the wrong way, to where people will be most likely obsessed with these celebrities because of how ET is like. I mean, you just watch it yourself. they're sort of, maybe some of them might have celebrity worship syndrome. I don't know. I'm just saying, if you really look at them, but you also have the other side that I think is really good. They reunite people. They let people talk and have great discussions and good laughs. Like, I think today, one of their last things was talking about Chadwick Boseman passed away, if I'm correct, by cancer. He played Black Panther. I really liked Black Panther. So I just want to give a little bit of a moment of silence to Chadwick Boseman and to people who sadly have died from cancer and from COVID-19, the fires and the hurricanes, and just the innocent people who have died this year. Can we just give 30 seconds of silence of respect for them, starting now? Thank you. I think that was well needed. Now, if I was running ET, I would let ET be more of a opinionated, more conversational, like celebrity news channel, rather than an obsessed, need to know this, inappropriate stuff, eavesdropping television. I sometimes call it ET that. I wouldn't do that. I would rather what I said, an opinionated sort of talk, news, celebrity news like channel, talking about some things that some people might need to know, because there are some celebrities out there I don't know who are bad people, and I think they should be reported. If they're trial and they were pleaded guilty and they're in prison for 30 years, then ET can say this such and such person, blah blah blah, and maybe even tell them which movies that they were in, which is very controversial because some people think that we can't sing "I Believe I Can Fly." R. Kelly saying that. Again, I think ET, if I was on the show or something like that, I would tell them sort of shorten some of the things. Don't really get into private business with anybody, and just sort of be sort of like a news talk, sort of opinionated, like this celebrity posted this, and then you give the person on ET can be like, well, I think this was bad, or I think people are overreacting to that, and then they're like, well, we have them here tonight and just sort of talk about that or debate them on that or have a reasonable conversation, like do stuff like that, which they have done. Again, I will give ET this. They are pretty good people. On the outside, I think their personality is pretty great. They usually try to bring people together and to better understand people and acceptance. I'm all for that, but some things in the inside I see that are cringy, just not good, and just maybe even for some people not moral. Like marriage license being on an organization that also has millions of views. A maybe mom, if I'm correct, talking about like a stripping pole and hot girls only when she's married to a man. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't do that. I'm saying that that's her business. Okay, we don't need to know that. So again, E.T. has good intentions, but I think some things that they do, I think they should just stop doing and just sort of shorten or not make private things as public, especially to celebrities, because it could change their lives. They're human as well. If something comes up that's controversial, and it's because of ET, that celebrity could even be fired or not be in a movie or replaced, pretty much. Pretty much. I just pray that ET would, I guess, level down on some of their things when it comes to celebrities and start being what I think it try to be or is trying to be or is being in general. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Because I really want ET to succeed and to be better. I think the best thing to me, I would like them to see, to talk about or to talk, I would say to talk to, not talk about, but to maybe have reasonable conversations with conservative celebrities or Christian celebrities who might not think how they think. I think that will have some good things. He might lose some viewers, but I mean, I'm not saying that they haven't done that in the past, or they're not doing it, or they didn't try. But I think now we should have people, both the left and the right, to have reasonable conversations instead of just bashing the other and saying that the other is just ultimately fundamentally wrong on everything. I think we should have reasonable conversations to better understand people and lives in general. I think ET should just be more of a opinionated sort of news like network for celebrities and for people who want to know what does this celebrity is doing right now. How are they socially distance or something like that. But I want to be like him. I wonder what they have on their house, or are they married? What's their marriage license? What's their lives? How do they use the bathroom? I don't want to know that. I don't. How are their relationships? Are they cheating with somebody? I don't need to know that. I think for me, the thing I need to know is what movie are they gonna do next, and maybe their political views. I mean, that's me. But I mean, again, I think they have good intentions, but I think sometimes they do really cringy and just bad things. But at the end of the day, I think ET's pretty good, but when you really look into it, it's more like I guess, double-edged sword. One side is good, bringing people together, having reasonable conversations, which I think ET should be. I think ET was trying to be that. Don't quote me on that. I think ET was trying to be that. And the other side is the inappropriate, unprivate privacy of a celebrity, and obsession, even or celebrity worship syndrome in it, that I think ET doesn't want. And if ET is watching this, or somebody from ET who might work, or somebody who could connect to ET, I hope they will really give this advice. Sort of, not necessarily dumbed down, but sort of leveled down on knowing a celebrity's life and more into their views and personalities, and getting to, having reasonable conversations and getting into conversations that are pretty good and healthy for everybody, especially in 2020 as of now. So yeah, that's all I got to say about ET, and sort of acknowledging something, celebrity worship disorder. If you have this, I don't know who to call, I don't know where to go, but just sort of, maybe if you're a Christian who you might think I'll just shorten it, CWS, celebrity worship syndrome. Just pray about it and ask God to heal you if it goes that far. If you're somebody who's not a Christian, do what you need to do to not have CWS. I think it should be recognized a little bit more, and I think ET should talk about it and hopefully low level. I'll call it low level their stuff. Like have a little lower level on what they're doing right now when it comes to celebrities' lives, not for bringing people together and bringing people back together, which I think they just did with somebody from Back to the Future and um, somebody else who they worked for on a comedy. I sort of like how they do that, how they bring people back together and talk and laugh. That's really great. But again, if you really look into ET, they might have CWS and other things that I think they shouldn't have. So yeah, that's just talking about ET and CWS. Most likely never gonna talk about both those things again. Maybe, most likely. Hey, real quick, if you want to dedicate your life to Christ, aka get saved, or if you're a backslider and want to rededicate your life to Christ, or if you want the baptism of the Holy Spirit with the evidence of speaking with tongues, those prayers are in the description down below. Have a good one.